The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus said to the crowd, "Is a lamp brought in to be placed under a bushel basket or under a bed, and not to be placed on a lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be made visible. Nothing is secret except to come to light. Anyone who has ears to hear ought to hear." He also told them, "Take care what you hear. The measure with which you measure will be measured out to you, and still more will be given to you. To the one who has, more will be given. From the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away." This is the good news of our salvation. Jesus in today's gospel is a wise man. He's giving principles on how we are to live our life. Being open, honest, having integrity. And in general, what he is talking about here is what we would call not only common sense, but ethics. How we live together as human beings. In our families, in our communities, and in our nation. Open and not hiding from one another. This, of course, was the way Jesus lived, not only in Nazareth, but ultimately through his whole public life. But we know that Jesus was not a philosopher. He wasn't a learned, wise man, as we find in other cultures, other civilizations, like Confucius, Socrates, and even modern philosophers who dedicate themselves to searching for how we should live our lives in order to search for the truth and to live that life. Jesus was a rabbi because he preached what he learned in the synagogue and growing up in a Jewish community, a Jewish family, in the time of the turn of the millennium. That's when he lived. But as a rabbi, he was revealing much more than a philosopher. He tells us in the Gospel of St. Matthew, "Everything I have received from my Father. No one knows the Son but the Father, and no one knows the Father but the Son." And during the Last Supper, Philip would say to Jesus, "Show us the Father, and that's enough for us." And Jesus would tell him, "I have been with you for 3 years, and you do not know me? Anyone who knows me knows my Father. And so Jesus is telling us that our life is not just on the human, ethical point of view. We have what we would call spiritual lives. We are members of God's family. We are members of His kingdom. We are bonded to Him in a divine life, a divine family, where God is our Father, Jesus is our brother, Mother Mary is our mother. This is what we have to tell the world, not put it under a bed or under a bushel, but share this truth the way Jesus shared it with us. And therefore, to understand our Christian vocation, the first thing we need to do is to recognize the giftedness, not only of our human experience, not only of all the time and talent and treasure that we have, but especially our spiritual blessings. This is what Jesus is telling us. This eventually will come true, but we should do everything in our power, according to our Christian faith, to tell others about the good news. One of the great factors of modern theology and spirituality is that holiness is not restricted to a small number. It's not restricted to those who are religious, taking the divine counsels of poverty, chastity, and obedience. It is not limited to those who receive the sacrament of holy orders. Every human person is called to holiness, and this in general is experienced by Christian families when the bridegroom, the husband and wife, are baptized and they receive the sacrament of matrimony. They, according to the Council of the Vatican, the Second Council of the Vatican, create a small church. Pope John Paul II defined the church as a family of families. And therefore, no one can just be a disciple. Everyone who is baptized receives the sacrament of confirmation. Is also called to feast on Jesus in the celebration of the Holy Eucharist, cannot be passive and put their faith under a bushel basket or under bread. They must put it on the lampstand of integrity, honesty, humility, and simplicity, and share their lives with others, because every disciple must be an apostle, and every evangelized person must be an evangelist. The modern world is besieged by what we call secularism. The number of persons who are becoming atheists or agnostics, denying that God can be known, is growing steadily. And those who believe in God and in His Son Jesus are diminishing. The only way that's going to be corrected is if all Christians really actively believe in Jesus, have an interpersonal relationship with Him, and cultivate that relationship by allowing Jesus more fully to enter into their lives. This is what it means to put the light of your faith, the light of your love, not under a bushel basket, but on a lampstand.